Hi friends, welcome to our channel. Today we continue our series on how to effectively influence men. In part 1 we covered 24 simple strategies, and in this part you'll find the remaining 25 that will help you better understand and guide men's behaviour. These techniques are based on psychological principles and real-life examples, and they're easy to apply. Ready to delve deeper into the mastery of influence? Let's get started. What makes a woman's philosophy? Femininity is a state of mind and a commitment to social action. The most common women's tricks, rule #4. Women are the weaker sex. Always ask for help. One of the most common ways of manipulation is related to an interesting paradox in human relationships. We are more willing to be influenced by weak people, those who know how to exploit their weakness, who easily ask for help even when they don't need it at all, or could do without it. In relations between men and women, this is one of the easiest ways of manipulation. After all, a woman by nature is the weaker sex, and she is so organised that she needs the help of stronger representatives of the human race. The most important thing, skillfully use this advantage. Women's weaknesses make a man feel strong and significant in the presence of ladies. By asking a man for help, you are in a way complimenting him. This is a problem I can't handle without your help. Men like that very much. Having fulfilled any of your requests, they already fall under your influence. With their help, they let you know that they are ready to patronise you, to help you in the future. You can skillfully use this unspoken promise. The most basic requests can make a man not only want to help, but also feel incredibly proud of his abilities. I am so capable and talented, and it's not hard for me to help you if you need it so much. Besides, having done you a favour once, it will be difficult for a man to refuse you the next time you ask for something more serious. For example, to change a light bulb, to see what's going on in your motor, to help you understand a new computer program, etc. The most important thing is that your request is feasible and corresponds to the skills and experience of the man. After all, if he cannot help you, you will embarrass him, he may be embarrassed, and he will be left with an unpleasant residue from communicating with you. In the future, his failure may even be the reason why he will start to avoid you. In general, think of tasks and tests for a man, but not too difficult. The main thing, so that he will certainly cope with them, and become in some way for you a fabulous deliverer from small troubles, which are waiting for you at every step. If even you yourself are masterful in electronics and technology, if you are an ace in the device of your own car, it is not at all necessary to brag about it. Men like it when a woman creates a more favourable background for him, when she is not so competent in the so-called male issues. If in your life there is nothing urgent and unfavourable, light bulbs do not sit down, the motor of the car works perfectly, then it will be appropriate to go to a small trick and yourself arrange a little trouble, and then resort to the help of your beau. What is it worth to you, for example, to accidentally break a light bulb that does not want to sit down, or to pull a hose out of the carburettor? Women's helplessness in such elementary everyday matters amuses men very much, but they, as a rule, never refuse to help. And even one good deed can cause them to have an attack of nobility. After that, you can safely turn to them for help on more important and serious problems. Rule #5. Migraine is a major female ailment. Sight ailments. How dizzy I feel. I don't feel well. I don't have enough fresh air. Hearing such exclamations from you, any man near you will certainly do his best to alleviate your ailments. In the days of wasp waists and lightweight corsets, it was very common for young girls to faint, and migraine was the most common illness among older women. Frequent ailments in those days are now attributed to overly tight clothes and heavy dresses. but there is another explanation. Girls in those olden days had the art of manipulating men. Every decent girl in those times could faint so much that the gentleman she liked would want to pick her up and carry her out into the fresh air, where all declarations of love usually took place. In our times, fainting is not so common. It is more related to actual ailments than to a girl's desire to draw attention to herself. But nevertheless, this form of manipulation is very effective and is still used by the most skillful women to control men. Women have some specific pains and ailments that men are not sufficiently aware of. They do not know everything about the female body and what a woman has to endure. Men's reaction to your ailments will be quite typical: confusion, desire to help at all costs, without causing pain of other origin, mental wounding, etc. Therefore, you can safely use this method when you think it is necessary. For example, your planned trip to the restaurant is postponed because of an unforeseen, urgent work which just fell on the head of your beloved. Well, don't beat the drums and don't throw a tantrum. Just wave in front of the eyes of your sweetheart with a wet towel on your head, moaning slightly. When asked, "What's wrong, darling?" you can simply say that you have a headache and you could really use some fresh air. Using this method of manipulation, remember an important rule: do not overdo it. Do not grab your head every time your beloved will refuse you in another whim. Do not pretend to be terminally ill if your man suddenly decided to cancel your walk. If you resort to this method too often, you will simply cease to be taken seriously, and most likely you will be found out in a simulation. And one more thing, choose simple ailments, headache or slight nausea. And if you suddenly complain of a fluttering heart or weaning limbs, your sweetheart may not on a joke frightened and call a doctor to check your health. Rule #6. Appearance: capitalize on your own attractiveness. A woman's beauty acts on men like sour cream on cats. For her sake, they are ready to do anything. There is no such thing as too much beauty. It is not true that a man gradually gets used to your beauty and stops admiring it. Most likely, you yourself are too neglectful of your appearance, not wanting to use this magnificent weapon. Every woman is endowed with her own special attractiveness, only her inherent charm. But very often, women do not know how to use their beauty correctly. Some of them forget that it is thanks to their appearance they won their current husband, and some do not know how to use this reliable weapon in the management of a man. Whatever inner virtues and mental qualities you have, no man is not able to appreciate them. If you will not be able to frame them in a worthy frame, competently and favourably decorated your appearance, you will be able to influence a man, regardless of the fact that you know him for a long time or it is a casual traveller in transport, provided that your appearance will correspond to a certain sample of the standard. Undoubtedly, taking care of your appearance is the greatest labour, but undoubtedly one of the most pleasant female duties. Needless to say that attractiveness is not only made up of expensive clothes, makeup and gorgeous hair. All this is just a background, a kind of appendage to your personality. In the first place should be yourself, not your expensive boots or gold jewellery. As a rule, men are not able to differentiate beauty into components, to evaluate separately hair and makeup, not paying attention to torn tights or stubbed heels. A man sees a woman as a whole in the totality of all her endeavours. Therefore, do not hope that men will not notice your unwashed hair and pay attention only to your fancy suit. You must be flawless in everything. And then, he is in your hands. It is noticed that men are much more willing to make concessions to women attractive than those who completely forget to take care of appearance and pay more attention to a woman dressed according to all the rules of fashion than to the one who dresses tastelessly. It will be easy for you to manage a man if you are always successful in arranging your appearance. If, for example, the man you're trying to influence sees you in the same clothes, for example because of the dress code at work, then do not despair. You are able to make your own in the same uniform, put on elegant high-heeled shoes, or sew the top button on the blouse a little lower. Such small details can cause a man not just sympathy for you, but also the desire to help, because a woman's beauty always hypnotizes a man. Rule #7. Female mystery. Don't give away your secrets. A mystery woman, a sphinx woman, a mysterious stranger is a dream not only for a poet, but also for any man. It is no secret that men appreciate in a woman mystery. You will subdue any man if you can intrigue him. In fact, female mystery is nothing but a sure way of manipulation. With its help, you can easily conquer any man, whether it is the object of your dreams or an employer offering a lucrative job. Here are some tips on how to properly use your mystique to achieve self-serving goals. Firstly, do not tell everything about yourself. It is better to withhold some of the information. Even if you really like to talk, in the presence of your interlocutor, you will have to moderate your desires and become more silent. Do not talk too much, but do not keep silent like a partisan. Try to carefully consider your thought before you say anything. In a conversation with a man, you should interest him in an original thought, a subtle hint. Do not try to go completely into yourself, otherwise you risk going unnoticed. Too much mystery and mystery in your appearance will not be good for you either. A man will not be delighted with your desire to hide any information about yourself, including your name, address, phone number. In this case, you will just seem strange to him. Do not be too frank in a conversation with a man. Try to conceal part of your biography, which is not to decorate you. For example, do not immediately tell about the fact that you were not so long ago married and managed to divorce, or that your real age is actually a little more than your chosen one assumes. At first, it is best to leave a little bit of understatement in the conversation. More often, use a woman's favourite wording, maybe, which gives a man hope for reciprocity, but leaves room for doubt. If a man who has long liked you still paid attention to you, do not in the first conversation to confess their passionate feelings, to open all the cards at once. Be restrained in showing your emotions. When asked fairly direct questions about your feelings, it is best to use evasive answers. I like you, but I haven't quite worked out my feelings yet. Your date proposal is tempting, but I'm not sure if I'll accept it yet. We'll talk about it next week. If your behaviour has made a man doubt himself, if he has a treacherous thought, am I so good? Will I be able to conquer this impregnable peak? Then you're on your way to conquering a man's heart. If you feel that there is nothing mysterious and enigmatic about you, something that men like so much, have a little fantasy. Make up some sad romantic story about your past unhappy love. Hint that you have been through a difficult phase in your life, that your heart belonged to an insidious seducer, and that you no longer trust men. With your story, you will arouse interest in the man. He will understand. To win your heart, he will have to try hard. Only one tip, do not overdo it with fictional romantic stories. Do not go into detail and shed tears in an empty place. In this case, one hint will be enough. Rule #8. Food. The male appetite is your main helper. The easiest time to persuade a man to do you a favour is when he is comfortable. His physiological needs are satisfied, and he feels in harmony with the world around him. For men, such a moment can be the moment of satisfying hunger. Simply put, ask a man to fulfill your desire after he has eaten. Experienced women know that you should not pester a man to give money for a new dress or a visit to a beauty salon until he has eaten properly. Remember that a well-fed man is more malleable and accommodating than a hungry one. Want to convince your husband to make an unscheduled visit to your mum? Wait until he's full. Looking for the right moment to persuade your boss to give you another paid holiday? Wait until he comes back from his lunch break. This way of persuading a man is even difficult to call manipulation. After all, you do nothing to influence the man's decision. You do not use prohibited methods of persuasion. Do not try to influence the point of view of your interlocutor in a hidden form. But at the same time, you are manipulating, choosing the right moment for your request, making it when your interlocutor is least irritated, when his vigilance is somewhat blunted. He has just eaten and is in a relaxed state. Thank you, friends, for being with us. We are happy to share with you 49 strategies to effectively influence men. This topic is inexhaustible, and there are many more interesting and useful videos on this topic ahead of us. To strengthen your relationships and achieve harmony in communication, follow our tips and watch how they bring results. Give us a like, share the video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new episodes. See you in our next videos.